what you should never do with perfumes. Fragrances in general. A lot of people make mistakes when they buy fragrances. I have also made mistakes. Fortunately, I have a penchant to do a lot of research before buying anything. First thing you should not do. Stop buying full bottles of perfume without first knowing what they smell like. I know a lot of people do this, and it's a really terrible thing to do. I know it could be very tempting, you see a very stylish perfume bottle somewhere, and you're like, it's probably good. It has the designer label, what could go wrong? And then you spend $100 later, you hate the thing, and you wasted $100. So if you want to avoid that problem, don't go straight for the full bottle. So here's an example. This is Youth Do by Estee Lauder. I researched this thoroughly before buying it. Here's the thing. A lot of people can solve this issue by going to the mall and, going through some samples. Because plenty of popular fragrances, they'll have samples there at the perfume counter. You could try it, you could see if you like it. Then if you like it, you could buy the full bottle. Problem is, they only do that with the popular fragrances. If you want fragrances that are very old, or vintage, or discontinued, or like this is from 1953. Or at least it was made in 1953. This, you're not going to find it at the perfume counter. You're not going to find this anywhere except, maybe eBay. You can get this on Amazon, actually. But you're not going to find samples of this at the mall, right? So you're going to have to look for samples elsewhere. It actually took me a while to find a sample for this one. I ordered a sample on eBay. They sent me the wrong thing. I had to go buy it from a different website. So it was a hassle. However, I'm glad I did it because the sample, which is a very small sample, I think it was like 0.75 milliliters, very small sample of Youth Do. When I first tried it, because I was looking for something spicy, heavy, and vintage specifically. When I first tried the sample, I thought I didn't like it because it was very, very strong. It gave me a headache. I was like, I'm glad I didn't get the full bottle. Didn't waste my money or anything. Then I decided to try the sample again, and I actually ended up liking it so much that I got the full bottle. And it's hard to really know if you like a perfume right away, first of all. Then getting a full bottle, you might think you hate it at first, and then you're like, well, I just wasted a bunch of money. Throw out the perfume or give it to somebody. There's not much room for error when you buy a full bottle, because once you spend that money, it's gone, right? And it's especially a big problem if you buy an expensive bottle of perfume. But with samples, it doesn't matter because samples are very cheap. Samples are usually only a few dollars or less, So that's pretty much something that you should avoid at all costs. Avoid buying the bottle first. Try to get a sample first. See if you like it. If you like it, you think you can get the full bottle. Now, caveat to this, alternative opinion to this. I have bought full bottles before without buying a sample first if the bottle itself is very cheap. Like this Emerald, I got this without buying a sample because I couldn't find any samples. This was $14 when I bought it. And I'm not really afraid of losing $14 if I didn't like it, so pretty much just, think about what kind of money you're comfortable spending on a perfume that you may or may not like. The other thing that you should not do, or the second thing, stop spraying perfume in the air. A lot of people, they spray it in the air. They walk through the cloud, and they think that's good. It's not good. Don't do that. So the thing with that, the reason why it's not good, you're wasting the perfume. The perfume's going on the floor, it's going on the countertop, it's going on the walls. It's not gonna, very little of it is gonna be on your person, You walk through the cloud, you get some on you, the rest of it's out in the wilderness, you lost it. You don't want to do that if you bought a bottle of perfume that's $100+, It's a waste, you're wasting money, you're wasting the perfume, and then the perfume gets on just the floor and everything, and it's a mess. So it's much better to spray it directly on your person. You waste less, and the longevity issue. If you walk through a cloud of perfume, it's really not going to last that long because it's very superficial. But if you put it directly on your clothes or your skin, then it'll have a much better chance of lasting for several hours. So that's something you really want to figure out, because, you know, especially if you have a Dior fragrance that's several $100s, don't let it go to waste, you know? Another thing you should stop doing is stop buying fragrances based on popularity alone. A lot of people will do this. You know, they see the Dior Sauvage, they see the Chanel No. 5, they see, I don't know, what else is popular, you know, whatever. Don't buy based on popularity, because a lot of people do this. They think, oh, you know, if it's that popular, it has to be good, or at least I will like it because it's popular. That's not the case, you know. Everyone has their unique smell preferences. And if you buy something because it's popular and not because you actually like it, then you're going to be disappointed, and then you will have wasted your money. So the thing is, instead of talking, you know, listening to the popularity, listen to your nose, I suppose. Think about what you like in a fragrance. You know, do you like tobacco, smoky fragrances? Do you like light, crispy, fresh fragrances, florals, whatever? You know, once you figure that out, then it'll be much easier to actually choose a fragrance that you like and you're actually going to wear, versus a popular fragrance that you hate and you're never going to wear. So that will also save you money, because you're actually gonna use the fragrance that you buy and not lock it in a closet. So definitely, you know, popularity comes and goes. You don't want to buy a fragrance just because of a fad, and then when you are halfway through the bottle, it's not cool anymore. So, you know, you have to switch. It's not worth it. Just go with whatever you like. Don't worry about the popularity or the fads. Another thing is to stop storing your fragrances in the wrong places. Fragrances, if you want them to last a long time, especially if you don't, you know, if you have something that you don't use very often, and it's gonna, you know, the bottle's gonna last a while, don't put it in the sun. Don't put it in a hot area. Don't put it in a moist area. You know, perfumes are mostly alcohol. But the thing is, despite the fact that they're relatively stable, they will eventually go bad. It might take several years, but it'll be a faster process if you put them in the wrong area. Sunlight is definitely going to change the perfume. Not necessarily ruin it, but it will change the way it smells. It will change the color. The same with heat. You want to keep it out of the heat, because, you know, perfumes are very exact. They have an exact chemistry to smell a certain way. And if anything changes that, like heat or sunlight, the thing will smell very different. Mostly in a negative way. So the best place to put any fragrance is in a cool, dark area. Maybe in a cabinet, in the closet, on a shady shelf somewhere. Don't put it on your windowsill. Don't put it, you know, in a sunny area. If you do that, your fragrance will probably last a very long time. I have an example that I talked about in a previous video. I have a bottle of Joy by Jean Patou, which is at least from the 80s, if not earlier. That is in perfect condition because it's been in a closet for 40 years. So there you go. If you leave your perfume in a closet for 40 years, it'll be fine. So, of course, you don't need to do that, but if you put it in a nice, cool area, dark area, it'll be fine. Last thing you should never do when buying fragrances is stop buying from the wrong stores. So, a simple way to avoid scams and just poor quality fragrances, check the reviews. You know, usually a website itself will have reviews, or people will leave reviews on specific fragrances, specific products. And, you know, if you see products with several 1-star reviews, there's something wrong there. But if you see something with several 5-star reviews, then most likely you're going to get a good product. And that's really important, especially when buying online, not even when buying in person sometimes. Manufacturers or vendors will try selling low quality fragrances, trying to market them as something higher quality than they are, and they will charge higher because of that, and that's a very common way that people get scammed, and that's not what you want to deal with. You want to get a high quality fragrance, you want to spend money on something that's actually good. So you can accomplish that by looking at the reviews, making sure everything seems to be as it's supposed to be. And if you do that, you're going to end up with a very good fragrance. A good also thing you can do is buy directly from the manufacturer. If you want to get a Dior fragrance, buy it from the Dior website, because then you're going to get straight from the person who's making it, right? So that's pretty much how you're going to get a good fragrance. Then, of course, there are discount sites, and a lot of the main ones are legit. They're fine. And then there's some that are a bit shady, so you just kind of have to weed out the ones that might not be legitimate. Other than that, that's pretty much all I have to say about what you should avoid, what you should never do when buying fragrances. If you have any opinions about that, you can leave those down in the comment section below. If you liked the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.